afternoon, guys. We are in a new room in our same hotel in Paros. Our ferry got canceled for today and we actually needed to totally reroute ourselves. So we are skipping Naxos now because today the ferries are canceled. Tomorrow's the ferries may run, fingers crossed. But then unfortunately the day after, on the 13th, there is going to be a nationwide strike of the unionized maritime workers, which is gonna have varying levels of impact on the ferries and on the cruise and how everything is kind of running. And they're striking, unfortunately, to protest the death of a passenger who was pushed overboard by crew members of a ferry, which is really quite horrific and definitely just like a very tragic accident. So it's understandable. And what we decided to do is, instead of going to Naxos and potentially being impacted by the strike and that situation, we are gonna just skip and commute tomorrow before the strike, and then hopefully on the 15th when everything, hopefully everything will be sorted on the 15th. I already plugged it in.
Oh.
So yeah, we made the executive decision to come back to our hotel, which is Minois, right? And I just like the pronunciation of it still. And we booked a different room and they actually have so kindly upgraded us. And when we came back in,
or we think we did, because I don't think I booked this view.
Yeah, we think we booked a partial sea view. And this is not a partial sea view, but if this is their version of a partial sea view, then I don't even know what their full sea view suites would actually look like, because this view is stunning. And yeah, so everybody has been so lovely. We literally came back here and they were all like, oh no, you guys couldn't get off. But the hospitality here is actually bar none. It's so good. I highly recommend you guys stay here. But yeah, we are just completely floored, even by how kind they've been to us, coming back and everything. Yeah, this place has been great. And what we were really shocked at is on the hotel in Naxos is so I think they are pretty used to ferries canceled and all of that sort of stuff, but all ferries in and out of Athens are canceled, and as our ferry originates in Athens, it's impacted. And it was canceled, and it's there are no boats. There's literally been no ferries coming in and out of Aritzia, which is the main port here. Nothing. We can see the line that the ferries would take. And the hotel was oh well, you can take this ferry, blah blah blah. And we're we would if we could, but it's completely sold out. So even though there is in theory a ferry departing, which it was supposed to depart an hour ago, and we haven't seen anything come across the horizon, we couldn't get on it because it's full. And they sort of expected us to somehow make our way onto a fully sold out ferry. And the fact that we didn't make our way onto a fully sold out ferry was grounds to not refund us, which was really strange. But yeah, we're just gonna take the L on that, figure it out when we're back home. It's a great learning experience, and we will maybe name and shame the hotel. We will see how we feel after to see if they resolve it. If they resolve it, they will not be named and shamed because they did right. If they don't resolve it, then yeah, because nationwide ferry cancellations and nationwide strikes are not our fault. It's not we missed our flight at home or something like that. And yeah, so we're just taking it day by day. But we are so happy to be back here, and we were so sad to leave this morning. And it's now we get to spend an extra day here, so we're stoked. Yeah. Anyways, I will show you guys a little 360 of our new and improved room and the new and improved view. And then I think we're gonna go chill at the pool. Is the bathroom nicer in this one?
I don't know. I think it's very nice though.
Ooh, I like the sink.
You should see the shower.
Ooh, okay. Well, I'll show you guys the shower. evening, guys. We spent the afternoon, well, the late afternoon by the pool. We stayed there for like an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe, and then we got cold. And since both of us are a little under the weather, we decided very unanimously to come back here and read. We had some tea and we got room service, which we normally would not get room service. However, we are so done. We're not really like done. We're just like a little bit like, I think, exhausted right now. While Paros has definitely been one of our favorite spots, it has kind of been our most tiring spot so far, just because everything we want to do is kind of like 20-30 minutes away, and it's really windy, so like driving the ATV and stuff, it's really cold at night. And I know this sounds like a lot of complaining. It's not. We just were ill prepared, but I think if we had brought like either denim jackets or leather jackets, we would be totally fine. So that was just on us, because we didn't really realize how quickly the season ends here in Greece. We very much approached it the same way we approached Italy. We did bring sweaters though, because I was like, we're gonna need them for the wind at night. But I didn't actually conceptualize how much wind there is. So like today, for instance, there is on the forecast, I think 42 kilometers of wind, which is a substantial amount of wind. So we just like were unprepared, and driving the ATV back at night in that much wind was kind of probably like the straw that broke the camel's back. I mean, like traveling as many places as we are, as rapid succession as we are, is definitely like tiring. But it's like we just kind of got like chilled or something 2 nights ago, and just we haven't been able to catch up since. And then last night we ate at the restaurant here, which is completely outside with no sheltered spaces at all. And I think that's like what pushed me like further over the edge. So we don't want to drive to town. We're too tired. It's also like really expensive to get to and from town without an ATV or like without your own car. It's like 50 euros each way. And yeah, we're just a little over it right now. So we got room service. We're gonna rest and recoup tonight. We're watching the sunset. This is the first night we're watching the sunset, like not either on the back of the ATV or with it being cloudy, which is lovely. And we're just kind of enjoying it, honestly. I feel like room service in a country with food as good as Greece is such a cop-out, but there are really good reasons, and like, please don't judge us too harshly. We're just like, we're cold and we're tired. So we're not gonna get behind the 8 ball too much more. We're gonna try and catch up, because we still have Eos and Santorini to go. And we want to, we've already been here for a couple days. We've seen what we wanted to see. So we're not going to push it, and we're going to save our energy and strength and stuff for the next couple stops. So that's where we're at. But we got burgers and they look amazing. So I'm stoked. And yeah, we're just going to enjoy this. And I think we're honestly going to just read and have a chill night, and probably get an early night's sleep, or at least a early night rot in bed. Morning, guys. Welcome to Eos. I did not talk to you guys at all yesterday, but I have some clips. But effectively, yesterday was an absolute shit show of a day. We checked out of Minoas. We were very sad to leave. It's so beautiful. Service 10 out of 10. And we came here to Eos. Our ferry was delayed, I think a total of 4 hours. Maybe like 2.5. No, 3.5, sorry. We were supposed to leave at 11:20 and we finally departed at, around 3-ish. So yeah, like almost 4 hours. Then we came to Eos and we are staying at another small luxury hotel of the world here. It's called Leo Stasi. And we're staying here for the next 3 nights because we completely had to skip Naxos. And today we are moving rooms again, but I'll get to that. So yesterday we get off the ferry. We're super excited because we had such an amazing experience at Minoa's, which is another small luxury hotel chain. And we preferably stay at this like small luxury hotel or like leading luxury umbrella of hotels because they're super safe. And for us traveling alone, we always prioritize our like safety and comfort at our hotel because we always know that if in the town or out and about, whatever, if we don't feel comfortable or safe, as soon as we get back, we know that we're like taken care of and everything is okay. And so we just prioritize that as something we choose to spend our money on when traveling. We save money other ways, but this is where we like really don't like cut corners. It's fine, you can
include that.
Aaron just said we don't F around here with it. So we get off the ferry and we are actually waiting for probably like almost 20 minutes for the driver. We ended up having to call the hotel and get them to arrange it. The owner of the hotel owns a travel agency and hotel in the port and was there thankfully, so he came up to us to assist us with our bags and take us to like wait for the transfer. But even he had to get involved to get this guy to come in. The driver doesn't speak to us, doesn't apologize, doesn't say hi, nothing.
No eye contact.
No eye contact, nothing. So we're like, oh no. Like we're feeling so awkward. And like, then we get here and the front desk person that we talked to, it was bad, guys. Like, I'll talk more later, but I want to quickly get through like the resolution where we are now. But we were just like so put off. Then we're taken outside for welcome drinks and we're like handed off to multiple people in this whole thing. It's not like the one front desk person is like helping us start to finish. Then we're taken out and it's like, okay, you can like have your drink and then take you to the room, and we're just like, we honestly don't want the drink, we just want to go to our room. Like we have been traveling, like trying to get here. It's 30 minutes away. We've been trying to get here for 4 hours. So yeah, we eventually get to our room and our room is dirty when we get here. Like it's been cleaned, but there's still like hair from the previous guest everywhere. Like there's hair on the bed, there's hair in the bathroom, like there's hair everywhere. There was hair on the bed, I removed it. Aaron's like, there was hair on the bed. I'm like, yeah. Foul. And then we are just like, oh my God. So we go down, we talk to the head of guest relations and ask her. She apologizes and gets it to clean. Then we go out for dinner and we're like, okay, nothing is open in this town from like, I guess 4:30 to 7:30, something. Like everybody goes to siesta, which is a Spanish thing. I know, not a Greek thing, but like there's no better word than a siesta. So we come back and we're like gonna go in our room. We're exhausted. We're so done with it. And we go and we're like, okay. And then the turn down service comes around and we're like, didn't you guys already come down? Because we were told that they were gonna clean and do turn down when we were out. So we go down to the front to wait and we ask for another bottle of water, which we met so much resistance asking for this bottle of water. And then we sat and then we were sitting and the same front desk lady who gave us issues with the water and issues on check-in comes down and is like, oh, like, is everything okay? Blah, blah, blah. Starts to like effectively like mansplain to us a bunch of things about turn down. And we were like, no, like, we understand how turn down works, all of this. We're just like, the room wasn't clean, like all of this, like you're fighting us about water for some reason. Like your driver left us, like you have not made sure that we're like actually okay and all of this sort of stuff. So last night we drafted an email to the head of booking, I guess, who we were talking to. He's wonderful. And this morning it got escalated up to management and we had a conversation with management this morning, which was a little uncomfortable to begin with, but they were super receptive and really kind, and they have actually offered to upgrade us, which we're gonna take because we also don't want to seem like we're turning down their like attempts to remedy the situation as well. But it kind of just like everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, but now they're starting to like remedy it. So before we head out, I'm gonna quickly show you guys this room in case I forgot to show you yesterday, and then I will show you our new room when we check in, when we move over there. But yeah, anyways, so far today is a lot better, except for the fact that we didn't realize that there was like an a la carte menu we could order breakfast off of, and we did their buffet and we should have just a la carte it, but that's okay. So yeah, that was on us. But yeah, we're gonna show you this, and then I'm gonna show you our upgraded suite, and I'll talk more about kind of like the details of what happened probably in like my recap video, because there's a lot of nuance with the situation and I want to take some time and like write down everything that happened and make sure that you guys like have both the good and the bad side, because right now we're still very much like dealing with the bad side, and I don't want to spend all my time talking about the bad when I'm sure over the next few days it's going to be a lot of good that comes out of this hotel. So we'll do with that. But yeah, I'll do a quick 360 and then we're gonna head out. Okay, we're starting with the view, which I think is the most beautiful part of this room. Our balcony is huge, and this is the view. So there's one pool here and one pool here, but then you can see like the mountains. This is like the harbor and the port, and then there's some other parts of the hotel. But this is stunning. It's so beautiful. Oh, and there's this little, I think it's a church, but I don't think they maintain it. But then out our back, they have this like organized olive grove, which is really so beautiful when we walk through. And then you come back in. Here's the bed. Also, I have to, full disclosure, I'm gonna skip Erin because she is busy reading Fourth Wing, which you guys, if you haven't read it, read it. This is the bathroom though, guys. Like, this is so tiny. Oh my gosh. It's seriously like a bathroom, like
2-star.
Yeah, but like bathrooms in like Tokyo and stuff are bigger than this.
And cleaner.
And cleaner.
It don't look like there's mold in like the hinge or like rust in the hinge.
Yeah.
It like hurts my eyes to see it.
We're not gonna show you guys the icky parts because I don't want anybody to feel unwell watching this video. But yeah, just like, I think if you are gonna stay here and you're seeing this video after you've already booked it, just like do a check of the room first. And also like, yeah, there's like one front desk girl with like really long hair. She's not the most proactive of hotel staffs we've dealt with. So maybe try to escalate stuff up to Maria, kind of as your first go-to. And bring your own water because they only give you one water bottle a day.
At a 5-star hotel.
Yeah, so we're just shocked because like we came from Minoas, which was almost like some of the highest like quality service we've dealt with in our travels together.
And they were explaining turn down service to us as if we don't know what turn down service is. And you know, with turn down service you receive additional water. So it is blowing my mind how disrespectful they were, talking to us as if we have never stayed at a 5-star before.
Yeah. And this is our second 5-star of the trip.
No, our third.
This is our third. Was
our third.
Mykonos also a 5-star? What else would have been 5-star?
Oh shit, yeah, no, sorry, this is the third.
Second.
Electra?
Oh yeah, sorry, this is, I don't count Athens for some reason. Okay, this is our third 5-star of the trip. So we stayed at the hotel in Athens, Electra Metropolis, Electra, something.
Electra Metropolis.
Electra Metropolis, Athens is the first 5-star we stayed at.
He gave us 2 water bottles.
2 water bottles.
Great service.
Great service, great brekkie.
Great breakfast.
Great breakfast, great views.
Not a small luxury hotel of the world.
No, but just a standard 5-star. So there's different tiers, right? Because there's like 5-star, then there's like small luxury hotels, there's leading luxury hotels, like there's all the other accoutrements, but each is like its own standard class. We'll talk about more of this later. But yeah, and then Minoas was obviously just like the best experience I think we've ever had at a 5-star together.
Yeah.
Like better than Marguda, which we were obsessed with Marguda last year. Mm-hmm. And then now this, and this is the worst. Like even the 3 stars we've stayed at have been better. Even the 2-star, like Olive Studios was not even starred, I don't think.
No, well I think it had 2. But
it had
regardless, it's just like, I feel like any guest that comes in, you should kind of treat them with grace and you should be respectful. You should never treat anybody as though you can't like, you treat them with a snobby air and they think like, oh, you're you're not going to be like a paying customer. Like you're not like somebody that's ever stayed in a 5-star, so we need to handle you with kid gloves. I think that's incredibly disrespectful and very judgmental of them, so I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm jumping in now because I'm like so fired up about this situation. I hate when people are disrespectful.
They were
like, it's
so
not
disrespectful.
hard to be nice. It's not hard to be nice. Like we're paying customers at the end of the day. We're not like crooks and criminals. Like I just don't understand.
Like that's the thing. Like yesterday we were like trying to talk about like just the cleanliness of the room and the fact that like we were being kind of kicked out of our room by turn down after we kind of expected turn down to be done, which is fine. But we were just explaining that like turn down came around and we thought that they would have done it at the same time as cleaning our room. And yeah, she was just like so rude. But spoiler alert on this, but effectively we dealt with kind of like a little bit of racism, which is so weird. I'll like obviously explain more because there's so much more going on with this, but yeah, it was weird. And I think once we put how actually discomforting and like disquieting that experience was, I think the hotel manager understood, but yeah, I think like in the West we'd call it like a microaggression. But the issue wasn't like the microaggression itself the issue was the microaggression, but then the further issue was the fact that we were being told it was because of ignorance. And of course, I mean, once like somebody, like once you're educated or like aware of like race issues, especially, like ignorance is not an excuse. Ignorance is like, you were ignorant, okay, it happened, do better. And like, how do you do better? But ignorance is not like an explanation. It's a why it happened, but like not a, like it doesn't solve the situation sort of thing. But that's okay. But yeah, we'll talk more about it later once we're a little bit less, you know, all over the place. But okay, we're gonna go switch rooms. I'm gonna go show you guys what they put us in now. Okay guys, we've moved rooms now. We're in a much bigger room. So we have like the door here. Erin is gonna grab her Kindle. She's like trying to stay out of the shot.
I'm trying to finish it and then we can go on our walk so we can talk about it.
Yeah, so Fourth Wing, you guys need to read it. I can't recommend it enough. If we're gonna go for a walk, then I don't think I'm gonna shower.
No.
I'm gonna get so sweaty.
Yeah. We're going for a hike.
Yeah, we're technically going for a hike. So we have seating area here, big couch, TV, balcony number 1, and then we have our bed. EKY is on the end of the bed, and then I'll flip this around. This is the bathroom. Like obviously this room is so much bigger. It's clearly been like they put so much more care into the finishes of this room, which I really dislike when hotels don't use the same finishing across like all of their rooms. Like they have, obviously like the more premium rooms have like more care and attention to detail, and then the standard rooms are like not. But this needs to go.
There's such a big difference though, but also this is a very minor detail with the key card.
Yeah.
They gave us a little like folder to hold it this time, like a little pouch. When we checked in, we didn't get one.
Oh.
And this is a very minor detail.
No, we got one. There was one. Yeah. Okay, so we got upgraded. And we spent, I'm gonna sit out here so I don't bug Erin. So we got upgraded because of, like honestly, to be fair, like a lot of BS went down yesterday. Like just so unnecessary. But yeah, we just had a chat with the head of guest relations, and we just like kept, like we did emphasize to her that this is not a reflection on her or like any of the management we dealt with. It's just like an isolated incident, or isolated incidents with like one staff member in particular. But I want to share this with you guys, like part of it, because it's kind of funny. So yesterday when we came back, we wanted another bottle of water because as our ferry was delayed, we had to like stay in our queue. Like we could have left the queue, but then you wouldn't get updated on what was going on because they would, on the front of the gate, they would post like the updated time. So if you weren't at the gate, you couldn't see and wouldn't know, or would have to like go back to the ticketing booth to like find out what was going on. So we were in that queue for about 4 hours. And so that whole time we're in this queue, we thankfully bought a bottle of water like before, but like we didn't eat, we didn't do anything because we were just effectively like stuck waiting. And I'm sure we could have left, but it was a little bit like disconcerting to leave and give up our spot and maybe miss the ferry. Like we had no idea. So it was just kind of a mess. And then we get here, straight into all of that. So we had just, not had a great day. And we spent a lot of time like outside in the sun. We're dehydrated and stuff. So we asked for a second bottle of water after dinner. And the front desk person, who was the person who checked us in, just like spoke to Erin so rudely. Like the way she talked down to Erin when Erin was just asking for another bottle of water was insane. And it's like, okay, so you have a policy where it's one free, okay, that's fine. But like if we're having a second one, just say, okay, yeah, of course. Please note that the second bottle isn't complimentary. Like really so easy, so straightforward. But that didn't happen. And yeah, we just like we're just so taken aback. And then after, so we were sitting outside because not outside, but like in the reception area while waiting for our room to be cleaned or turned down. She comes up to us again, like multiple times, kind of like passive aggressively asking like, are we okay and all this. So we just started like a little frustrated at this point, and we start to just try to talk to her about what's going on. She's constantly interrupting us and everything. And we're just like, okay, well, like, whatever. We leave that conversation feeling like really, really uncomfortable. And then we get to the room, we get ready for bed and all this sort of stuff. And then we get a call saying like, oh, do you want this? And do you want that? Blah, 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 blah. And we're like, no, we're going to sleep. Like, we're tired. Like, we don't know. Yeah. And this morning we got pulled to talk to management after we sent an email.
I was like, let's fucking go.
Erin was like, we are ready. So in that conversation, we didn't actually talk a lot about the nuances of the conversation we had with this one staff member. Because what we ended up like in the discussion, we were fully just going to talk about the service, but we actually unfortunately spent more time talking about the like racism that this one staff member kind of did. I mean, technically speaking, I would classify it more as a microaggression than like racism, but the nuances of that, for like I don't speak Greek, so I would not be able to communicate that difference to to them, and they don't speak English to like that same level, like, because like a microaggression, like explaining what a microaggression is, it's like a colloquial thing to like North America mostly, and I don't know how to explain it necessarily in a way that would like effectively and with clarity like explain to a non-native English speaker what it means. So it was better to just like focus on like the high level discussion for our point and what we were trying to get across. And what happened was when we checked in, Erin, everything's under Erin's name, and you guys know that Erin is
Chinese.
She's Chinese. Her family is from, and I'm just trying to think of like how, like, her family is from Hong Kong Ren. Like, but ethnically, like,
That's what you should say.
Ren?
It's like you're saying red, but for us it's like yen.
Yeah,
like,
but
it's like slightly different. I know exactly.
Ren is 普通话.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
So Erin speaks Canto, and I grew up learning Mando. So it's funny because like sometimes how I say things in like my hella bad accent, she's like, I know what you're saying because you're speaking Mandarin, but like it doesn't sound proper, like regardless. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But just like, okay, so she's Chinese. We know this, okay? Default. You guys know I'm mixed. But my dad is white, so I have my dad's last name. And we checked in. Aaron's like, what name is it? Young. They know that we're coming because we called to make sure that the transfer was on the way. And Erin had to provide her name for like the transfer to come get us. And first of all, she can't find the reservation. And then she like is like, what's the last name? What's the last name? What's the last name? Like so many times. And then goes, Wang.
I was like, bitch.
We're like, be fucking for real. We just said like 6 times, Young. We don't actually pronounce Aaron's name in Cantonese the way like it technically should be pronounced. We pronounce it Young, like Y-O-U-N-G. So we like Aaron's pronunciation of her last name is anglicized to begin with. And again, obviously English is not this person's first language. So there's a lot of like, we understand like it's not their first language, it's fine. And we don't expect everybody to know like Cantonese or Mandarin. That's not the issue here. The issue is you already take an anglicized pronunciation, which is anglicized for the convenience of non like Guangdonghua, Putonghua speakers. And then, for the ease of like non-Mandarin or Cantonese or Teochew, Hokkien like speakers to understand and pronounce easily. And then she goes and says, Wang. So effectively on this whole ass list of people checking in that day, she picked the only other Asian last name, the only other Asian surname on the list and said, this must be it. Even though we had repeatedly said multiple times, it's Young. And that just was for us, was just like, So we brought that up today, and I think that's what we spent most of our time talking about, because like typically speaking, I would class that as a microaggression, which would be from a place of like non-malicious intent, but from a place of ignorance, but something that could be easily avoided if she had simply said, could you spell it for me? I'm having a hard time finding it. Do you mind writing it out for me? Or is this how you would spell it? Or something like that. She could have clarified it any number of ways, but instead immediately jumped to, they're saying the name wrong, it's Wang. Or something in kind to that. So yeah. That was what we spent a lot of time talking about, because like, it would have been fine.
It's like, bitch, go back to hospitality school.
Like,
this is not how you talk to your guests.
Yeah, it would have been fine if it had not been further compounded with other instances with this one particular person. I think we would have brushed it off probably as just like a microaggression and like ignorance and moved on. But then we repeatedly throughout the day had bad experiences with this person.
Do you bleep the swear words in your YouTube?
No, you can still be monetized with swear words.
Oh really?
So long as you're not like dropping an F-bomb every like 5 seconds, it's fine. It's just I also mark my channel as.
I feel bad. Like I'm like.
No. Also, FYI, my channel is marked as like non-family friendly, like 18 plus. So if you're not 18 plus watching my video, I mean, I'm sure it's fine, but I have it marked as 18 plus because sometimes your girl needs to drop a good F-bomb. Okay? But yeah. So it got me thinking this morning. I was like, okay, like I don't feel great about this, but we did bring it up in the email and we brought it up today, and we would have actually just talked about our experiences with this person, like the other experiences, but unfortunately we were having the most traction and like with this one issue. So we kind of both focused on that. And the point that I made that I think really drove it home for me personally was, I said to them, I was like, well, you know, you are an international destination. You are a hotel that caters to people from all around the world. We don't expect you to know how to pronounce every single name, but we do expect to be treated like, you know, like we are equally as valued as any other person from anywhere else in the world. And part of that is the care and consideration to at least attempt to pronounce the last name on the booking, but to not just blatantly assume that the last name is something else, because it's like Wang to Young are not close at all. I would Wang to Wang, yeah, for sure. Would have made that mistake myself, but like.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, Erin has more to. You can contribute as much as you want.
Okay. Oh, now it's like getting safe. I will just come over. But funny story, like, Steph was like kind of like nervous to have this conversation with the manager, and I was like, don't worry, it's all gonna be fine. Like, we know that the ask isn't anything we don't want them to, like, we know that the ask isn't for them to do anything different for us. It's just kind of like making them aware that we're displeased. And then I go, right, and then Steph even said, she's like, if you're not comfortable bringing up the fact that, you know, there was a microaggression, I'd be happy to say it. And literally, like, coming right out of the gate, I fully said, you know, visibly, I'm obviously Chinese, and I felt uncomfortable in this manner. And Steph was like, oh my God. Like, she
Erin
was like,
went there, and I was just like,
she's like, my golden retriever friend is actually sticking up for her. No, like, my biggest thing though is like, okay, like, if your place is not as nice, fine. If it doesn't fully match the pictures, whatever. You have certain policies, whatever. But like, the part that I draw a hard line is when someone is being disrespectful, because I think it's not hard to be nice. And so when someone is being disrespectful, you know, if it is related to race, jail. But like, if not, just in general, if you're being disrespectful, like, that's not good. Like, I just feel like nobody should have that experience.
It was also like, there was the microaggression. There was the fact that our driver didn't apologize or even talk to us at all. And then like the whole check-in process, which honestly, when we do like our trip review recap, what we learned, all that, we'll talk about like this detail, like this with like bullet points, so we're like ready and organized. But like, there were just so many points with it where like, it was like after the microaggression with this person, and then we dealt with her repeatedly after, and she was consistently like rude and disrespectful to Erin in particular. It was like, like, was it a microaggression, or is she like racist?
Yeah, she was kind of like explaining things to me like I was stupid.
Or didn't speak English.
Yeah.
Actually, that's kind of what it was. She was explaining things to Erin like Erin did not understand. Like that Erin's passport was not a Canadian passport with born in Canada, like Canadian citizen, place of birth, Canada on it.
Yeah, but no matter what, like wherever I'm born or how good my English is, or, you know, whatever my credentials are, I think regardless, if you are staying at any hotel where, you know, you're a paying guest,
you should be treated fairly.
Yeah, front desk reception should treat you with kindness. Like, it's not that hard. You know, if we, like, you know, our room, mind you, like, we did book a smaller room, that is on us. So I don't really care about that.
We're not even mad about the room.
No,
like,
for me, it's like, don't be disrespectful. Like, it's not hard to be kind. Like,
it's not hard to be, and like, even things, so there was like hair in our room, not from us, and like, we fully just brought it up. And then when we were downstairs waiting for the room for turn down service, we explained what was going on to this girl, this woman, and she was like annoyed at us for bringing up the fact that there was hair in our room when we checked in, and then that we were waiting for turn down service, which we thought was going to be done at the same time as the room cleaning. Because logically speaking, why have the same housekeeper come into the room like 4 or 5 times a day? Like, just could have just done turn down at the same time.
It's a lot of excuses, and the biggest thing for me personally is like, if you've done something wrong, just like own it. And I think like not being able to own where you've done wrong is a huge red flag for me, especially in service. And like, what we're asking for is not out of this world. Like, we're just asking for a clean room and more water. But just like the way they sort of talked to us was just so disrespectful. And just like every time we would try to explain what was going on or explain our thought process, they would just quickly like cut us off and be defensive with an excuse. Like, they wouldn't come in, like, they wouldn't cut us off and be like, sorry. They'd be like, cut us off and be like, but you're wrong. Like, it's just like, it blows my mind. Like, that is not service that I would expect from any hotel, no matter how many stars you have.
Yes.
Going off.
Yeah, it was just like really shocking. And I think this morning, like when we were explaining, I think like we talked a lot particularly about the last name issue, because I think the other stuff is pretty cut and dry, which we wrote it in an email as well. But I think the last name issue, like putting it into a perspective, I was like, you guys are an international hotel, you accept guests, like all this. But I was like, if y'all can figure out how to pronounce like Dostoevsky, which I don't even think I can pronounce it correctly, but it's like, if you guys can figure out how to pronounce like Tolstoy, Rachmaninoff, like Kennedy, all of these things, you can probably pronounce the difference between, or know the difference between Young and Wang. And I think what they were really surprised about was, I said to them, I was like, I have a British last name, and if I had used it, there wouldn't have been this issue. You would have gotten it. But I'm also Chinese. So figure it out.
Yeah, and I think, you know, like when we had wrote that email, like we wrote that email to the person I was corresponding to quite a bit. Mostly, like, I even asked Steph multiple times, I was like, what is our ask with this? Like, if we do this, what's like our intention? And I think our intention was to never, you know, ask for anything more, any upgrades or anything like that. For us, it was a mere just like, we want to bring this to your attention.
Because we're uncomfortable.
Yeah, because we're staying here for a couple more days. We don't want the same type of situations happening again. That was it. But I think, you know, they actually did the correct thing. And I think this is honestly an isolated incident, and it's not reflective of the hotel as a whole. I think
that's what we're hoping.
Yeah, I think from like the manager and like the reservations executive that I had spoken to, you know, they were very apologetic, and they right off the bat said, you know, like, we completely understand where you're coming from. And I think them being able to accept that and own that is huge for me. So I know that like this is more like an isolated incident.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that they actually remedied the situation instead of being defensive already says a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Like, they came out of the gate very like, we're so sorry. Could you tell us a little bit more so we understand like why this is an issue? Not like that it's an issue. They were just like, we want to understand like the nuances of like how it made you feel and like why it was, so that like we can avoid that. But yeah, they've done a lot to remedy, and I don't know, like, we're hoping it's just the one person, because everybody else we dealt with this morning, like all the wait staff and stuff, have just actually been
and
like,
I was very
wonderful. We were so clear about that.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Yeah, like, absolutely, like, I was very quick to be like, by the way, like, you know, your wait staff, the people that work at your bar, everybody that we've talked to, amazing. Like, I'm not here to like just negatively like say as a whole everything is bad.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, it's very clear we're not just staying here for one night, we're staying here for multiple nights, and we just want to not feel awkward when we walk through or like your hotel.
Yeah, and like not even awkward, like unwelcome, because like that was the thing, like that person made us feel like so unwelcome.
And like to the point where it's like, you know, knowing they worked reception, we almost felt as though like we didn't even trust them to like call taxis for us or like set up activities for us or things like that, which is kind of interesting, because I think if you stayed at any other hotel, we would have like very much used the front desk or concierge to kind of help us in any way. But the fact that we didn't like in that moment trust them, I think says a lot about how we felt about the service.
Yeah.
And
we're also not really ones to complain. Like, we usually, like, even Capri last year, if you guys saw that video and like saw the rundown, like the rundown after, like, we did not have the best time in Capri. Like, there were definitely highlights of Capri that were amazing. Like, the guys at Panorama were just wonderful. But like, there were weird things that went on in Capri that we were just like, eh. But like, this beat that. Like, weirdly, it beat that. So, I don't know. We're hoping that everything turns around now. The management level has been nothing but wonderful the whole time we've been here. Like, before, during, it is like the two people, like the driver and that front desk person. And we're just a little like, I don't know, we're hoping it was just like a bad day for them. The driver did say hi to us this morning when he brought our bags to this room.
Yeah, I think they're aware of it, and like, you know, at the end of the day, we could have caught them in an off day.
Yeah,
that's totally understandable. Like, working in like a service industry in the past, like, I understand, you know, you can have off days and things can happen. Yeah, that's totally fine. Like, it's just, I'm glad that they're aware of it and they're trying to improve and kind of make steps toward that. I think that's the biggest thing. So I could still definitely recommend this hotel to other people to stay at. However, like, it's just kind of sharing, like, you know, I think as a learning experience as a whole, it's just like, if you ever feel like you're treated poorly,
speak up for yourself.
Definitely speak up for yourself, because you know, maybe they're caught in an off day, or, you know, maybe they're not aware that someone treated you that way. Like, I think it's good to kind of voice out your opinion, but obviously kind of like leave the emotions out of it. Like, for me, whenever I need to bring up any concern or issues, I try to keep it like point by point. I want things in writing. Yeah. Very clearly, like the problems that I had, like I can really like draw out the scene. So it's like take the emotions out of it, like actually write out what happened, because I think by doing that, the hotel manager today and even the reservations executive, they're very clear with what I had problems with. Like I wasn't here to mess around. Like I wasn't here to ask for freebies. Like that's not the intention. The intention is to be like, this is not right, and I don't think it's right.
It also allowed us to, like, we wrote it out last night and then slept on it and read it again this morning and came to the decision to send it this morning. And I would recommend doing that. It also allowed, I think, them to deal with the feedback that they got that they could deal with without our input, and handle the topics where they felt our voice was most required. So it streamlined that experience, but also have everything in writing. Because, like, for us with the Naxos hotel, she wasn't going to give us a refund for the, like, longest time, like the last, like, 48 hours or something. And Expedia ended up stepping in. And because we had everything in writing, I think it just made that process of, like, getting the refund and getting everything back, like, a little bit faster, because we showed that, like, all of our ferries were canceled. The ferries today are on strike. Like, you know,
I think, to be fair, I think what happened with the Naxos hotel specifically is originally they were trying, like, I think they were making it seem like we were lying to them, that we couldn't get to their island, which is why we wanted a refund. Like, no, of course we want to visit your island. We're kind of sad we're missing it, to be quite frank. And I think they actually had a lot of cancellations, so I think they're trying to, like, sort their ducks in a row. Because I think when you book through a third party, the hotel has to release a refund to the third party, and then you have to contact the third party to get your refund. Just to point that out there, the refund is not automatic. You need, as a consumer, you need to be active with that. So use the virtual agent, who will then connect you to a live agent on Expedia. But I think, you know, working in corporate, working in real estate, it's so important for you to always have everything in writing. Because it helps you, number one, sort out your thoughts, and number two,
the paper trail.
The paper trail. It gives you receipts. So important.
And things too, like, you know, even like yesterday, thankfully we got the refund through, but we yesterday received our our refund for the ticket cancellations for the ferries. We were automatically refunded we used Ferry Hopper to book all of our ferries in Europe, and we were automatically refunded. So if the hotel had continued to push back, we have, like, proof that all of the ferries that did run that day were sold out. We have proof that that our ferry tickets were actually canceled. We have a notice from Ferry Hopper saying everything was, like, down, nothing. So we came, like, and that's why, like, everything in writing is so important, because the more evidence you build to plead your case, the stronger it is. Because we also knew that even if the Naxos hotel didn't ultimately want to give us the refund, we could take all of this information to Expedia, the company we booked through, and we could have gotten them to handle it for us and use them and brought them in to help. Or if we really needed to escalate it further, take it to the credit card company and say, hey, we tried with the hotel, we tried with Expedia, here's, like, the proof that the ferries were canceled, we could not get to the island. What can, like, is the insurance going to cover this? Like, please, like, tell us, help us.
The caveat with that though is that, like, you know, later down the line, your likelihood of getting refunds is probably not as high. So I think the biggest thing though is when you're dealing with, like, a hotel specifically, it's just, you can't come out too hot out of the gate. Like, you really can't, like, because then it's just, like, anger versus anger and just, like, no remediation. The way that I think is really productive is when you say, like, you know, I understand this is frustrating for you, it's frustrating for us, we just want to get a refund. Not being like, we deserve a refund. Like, you just, like,
send the golden retriever friend to do the talking first, and then send the black cat friend in after the golden retriever doesn't work.
The thing is, like, with, even though I am, like, that golden retriever personality, I think like you just need to like have that empathy with them so that they can kind of like understand the position that you're coming from, so that they know that you're not coming in on them so hot. They can kind of rationalize with you a little bit better, but also, like I said before, like take the emotion out of it, like the anger and frustration, take that away, and just kind of simply like lay out your points and kind of be patient with them. Because when you think about it, at the end of the day, like when situations like that happen when you're traveling, they probably have so much shit flying at them from different customers.
Yeah.
So if you can play that nice card, they're going to just be nicer to you.
Yeah. We recommend, it's like, come at it, like advocate for yourself, but do so like respectfully.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, understand like even today we were talking about, we're like, maybe she's having a bad day. Like we don't know what's going on in her personal life. Like we don't know. We're like very empathetic. We were just like very taken aback. And I think it was like, we're very like empathetic. And if there is something, like we're very like aware that can bleed into work life and all of this, like, yeah, I don't know. We ended up having a good resolution.
We did have a good resolution. And like, it's
we
kind of
get
funny
massages out of it. So
because earlier, like when we had that conversation, staff would be like very, like would explain all the bad. Like it would explain all the bad. And I'd be like, good, thank you for doing that. But then I would come in as like the good cop and I'd be like, well, you know, to be fair, this person was great and that person was great, so I'm sure this is an isolated incident.
I delivered the facts
of
what was wrong,
so,
and Aaron placated them after hearing the facts. And
so I think
that is how we work together as a team, though. Like,
yeah, and I think that's like the most productive way. Like I think, you know, whether this is like you're dealing with like hotels or
even like
people
even
that
in
you
work
with,
like yeah,
just, you like don't
like dealing with clients. It's always like, for me, it's always like you lay out the facts and then you go, okay, but if you want to try, we will. If you want to see, we will. Let's do this. How about this? Like, but the important thing is to always like make sure people have the facts, but make sure people are comfortable
and like stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
I think if you give
respectfully stand up for yourself.
Yeah, like 3-4 years ago, I would feel really nervous to stand up for myself in situations like this. But I think at the end of the day, it's like, no, like you're a paying customer. You are entitled to what you paid for. And if someone is being disrespectful for you, you don't deserve that. So just make sure you stand up for yourself.
Yeah. But we got the resolution. And hopefully the next 2 days here are fabulous. And we will have glowing reviews to report at the end, and this thing will just be a, hey, like this is truly just like that one person, so if you're stuck dealing with her, know that it's just her.
Yeah, just a blip. So
fingers crossed.
Yeah. But I'm very, very, very happy with how they handled the situation.
Yeah.
I'm very, very glad that they were just very mature, accommodating, and apologetic.
They were like, in my opinion, they were over the top, like receptive to the conversation. Like they could have had their employees back like 110%, and I would have understood them having their employees back.
Exactly, I would get that too.
But they weren't. They were like, they had no bias, nothing. They just really were like this, and like that's so impressive to me, because I don't think countries in Europe and like or outside of North America really are as focused on like equity, diversity, and inclusion. And so there's not as much discussion about what a microaggression is, what racism is, what like why ignorance is not an excuse, like that sort of thing. And they were just so like oh my god, like let's figure this out, let's talk about it, like why is this an issue, like how do we fix the issue, what can we do? And we also, for us, are always like, it's not about like, okay, we can deal with the situation because we're together, but you know, we also are kind of like, hey, like just for future guests, like this might, like you might not get a guest who's as understanding. Like there are other like racialized minorities who are going to want to visit here, and we don't want them to be uncomfortable. So overall, it was a productive discussion, and
it was.
It went about as well as we could have hoped.
I'm glad they dealt with it that way.
Yeah.
Very, very glad.
And they were super like, you know, even like, even everybody afterwards like, oh my gosh, like we can't change the first impression, like there's only one chance and we're like, yeah, that's fine, but like you guys have done a great job like making up for it, like don't worry, don't stress.
And I would definitely write a good review if this kind of continues on, that they do treat us well. I think the biggest thing I told them was like, I'd rather just have like a good open communication and like provide you that feedback versus just like blasting you.
Yeah.
Social media.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is what we're doing right now.
No, we're talking about the resolution.
We're talking about the resolution. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Fair.
Like, again, I think also, I mean, you guys know I talk about the good and the bad on my channel. I talk about, like, I do, in product reviews, I don't, like, mince my words. Oh, but ultimately, we're just, like, grateful that they took the chance to remedy it, and we're gonna move on and explore the island. Actually, we're gonna read first, because Erin has to finish this book, because I need to know what happens.
Yeah.
Well, I know what happens, but I need her to know what happens so that we can talk about what happens, because I'm freaking out. But yeah, okay. We're gonna read, and then we're gonna go on a hike, and then we're gonna shower and go to the pool.
Sounds good.
And get more water. Bye.
I feel like you guys never see me, and I like literally was like so vocal on this vlog.
So yeah, I feel like I never vlog. I'm always with Erin when I vlog for the most part, but like I don't think you guys ever see her.
And this isn't actually how my voice normally sounds too, which is actually even funnier. But anyways, hello.
Yeah, welcome to the channel, Erin. Okay, we're gonna read for a bit and drink a bottle of water because we're both dehydrated. Okay, bye. Well, it's now like kind of evening time. Okay, so we went and explored the island. I honestly think I forgot to take you out. We were gonna go for a hike up Chora, and we decided to ATV so that we could do the hike up our Horus, right? Do the hike up to the top of Hora, but the path was closed. I don't know. And then we just like drove around. My nose is like a little like too burnt for my liking. Not that I want my nose ever to be burnt, but like it's especially burnt looking. Like I look like I have goggles. So I've been like the Paros boat day. But yeah, we are back at the hotel. I've changed into this Bidey bikini. Like it has matching bottoms, my white linen trousers, because they are like my clean linen pants now. And we made dinner reservations at the restaurant at our hotel called Grandma's. It's like one of the top rated restaurants on the island. And we were really struggling yesterday to find food in Hora. I don't know if we're just like so far into off season that it's like some things are already closing. I don't know if we're just like unlucky. I don't know. Couldn't really tell you right now. But we had kind of a hard time yesterday finding things, and that like, I don't know, made us a little hesitant today to like venture out again. So we'll see. We like, I don't know. There are like some really beautiful vantage points here, but definitely Eos is not as built up as Paros or even like Polonia on Milos. Like Polonia is like more developed than the Hora is here, and like the town is here that we've seen. Which is kind of interesting. I don't know, maybe there's like a new part of town that we haven't been to. But from what we've seen so far, it's just like the old town, and then like this part that we're staying in, which is like below it, which is like mostly just hotels and stuff. And it's beautiful. It just doesn't have a lot of daytime stuff. Like Eos is very much a party island, it's turning out. So we're a little like during the day, and we don't really want to party either. Both of us were under the weather for the last like 2 or 3 days, and I don't think we want to like get behind again, especially with like we're now like in the countdown to going home, and like when we get home we have to hit the ground running. So we're trying to just like take it slower. And the partying here also really doesn't seem like something that I personally would enjoy. I really liked the Scandinavian bar. There were places in Paros that looked like they would be like the Scandinavian bar, like lots of fun, a good time. These seem more like little like hole-in-the-wall college bars. Like, there was this place, if any of you went to Western in London, Ontario, where I went and like where Erin went, it reminds me of like Tap Out / like Hideaway, like that place, but grungier. So if that gives you an idea of what we're working with, and I'm just not that type of person. I don't really like a grungy bar. I don't vibe with that. So we're probably just not gonna do that here. But that does leave us like kind of like not doing what this island is known for. However, I think we're okay with it. Like, I mean, the island itself is so beautiful. We're so excited to see the sunset. Like, sunset last night was just so stunning here. And our resort itself is really, like, our hotel is really beautiful. So we're okay staying here. I think this is the first place where we don't really have, well, the last 2 nights on Paros, we also stayed at our hotel. But the penultimate night was because we wanted to try the restaurant at our hotel because it was highly rated and it was curated by a Michelin star chef. And the second night we were both sick and tired and just like so exhausted from everything that happened that we were just like, we'll get room service, chill, and catch up. And we both read and got like maybe our first night of over 5 or 6 hours of sleep all trip, so that was very well needed. And then we slept last night at 10, and Erin woke up at 8:30 and I woke up at 7:40, I think, both like naturally. So we both got like 9.5 to 10 hours of sleep, which was very needed. But yeah, we're now gonna go sit by the pool for a bit, and I don't know, maybe take some photos in the olive grove because it's very aesthetic there. But yeah, that's it. I don't know, we're both also like, we're very excited to go to Santorini, where there's like
Stuff to
do during the day, because we're suffering from a lack of stuff to do during the day, and we're not the type of people to just like sit by our hotel pool all day. Like, we'll go sit at the beach, but we didn't plan a beach day for today, thinking that there'd be more to do in town, so we're a little like, me. But yeah, okay, we're gonna go. I will show you guys sunset and dinner, I think, slash the pool. So. Welcome to our second day on EOS. We are heading out to a boat day today, and we're going on to like a little like dinghy. So I'm not gonna bring you guys for your safety and security of my beautiful little vlogging camera. So I'm not gonna bring you. I am gonna just take iPhone footage instead, and hopefully that will do the trick. I just really don't want to risk the biscuit of like having you guys and then also like not feeling comfortable like using it. And yeah, I don't know, we've also just not had a great experience with this island, so we're gonna be cautious today. We're only gonna take the bare necessities. So that being said, this is my check-in for now. The thing is only from 11 till 3, and then we're gonna stay at Milo Plotas Beach for a bit, and then we're gonna come back here. We probably are gonna see about having massages, and then we are going to I don't know, figure out what to do for dinner because we have to eat. And the restaurant last night, so we ate at the hotel restaurant last night, and I think it was like one of our more expensive meals, like more expensive than Castro's, more expensive than Katarina's, and it was yeah. So we're just like, we might go back to the pizza place. We're kind of like a little shell shock. And yeah, so that's gonna kind of be the plan. So we're going to probably head out to Breckie as soon as Erin's ready, because I showered first, and then we're going to just get on with our day and try and make the most of it. I also saw this like video on TikTok of like the EOS cough, which is like people from going out, but I was like, in Mykonos, both Erin and I like got something, like, which I don't know, it's probably fair because like all the going out and stuff. It wasn't super bad, so like in Paros we were like not feeling great, and then we legitimately like in Paros recovered. Yesterday we like got here and we slept and felt so good, and then the day before we slept felt so good, and then yesterday my nose and my nose started to get stuffy again, and I'm just like, oh my god, I can't stand it. Like, why? Like, normally it's like summer, we're here, right? Like, why is my nose stuffy? Why does my chest hurt? Like, we haven't gone out since Mykonos. It's over a week ago. And yeah, just like, I saw the EOS cough and I was like, oh god, no, how can I have that? And I didn't go out. But yeah, we're gonna make the best of today. I'm sure the beaches are gonna be absolutely stunning, and the view here is so nice. I think we're just like not the type of traveler that this island like ultimately caters to. And if we didn't have this boat tour booked, and we were confident that the ferries were running, we would have probably just booked a day trip in like onto Naxos or something. But we had this boat tour, and yesterday there were no ferries, so we couldn't leave the island if we wanted to, or like couldn't do like any of that. So yeah, anyways, yeah, okay, I'm gonna head to Breckie and I will chat to you guys later tonight, but I'm gonna leave you safely tucked into the safe. Oh, I got it. Okay, Steph, I'm ready for you. Saba. Got the undershot too. Woo.
Oh, maybe do one here. Okay, let me switch it. So this part is very, very bright, but here I think, oh yeah, I think this is much cooler. Oh, this is so good. If you can create some triangles.
Good morning. Yes. I mean, you guys can hear from my voice that it is not going well. I have no idea. We have not gone out. We have not had late nights. We have actually been respectively tucked into bed 2 out of 3 nights at 7 p.m. and have been at least asleep before midnight every night that we've been here. But we are both suffering. Like we were, both of us were a little under the weather in Paros. Like nothing major, but here, like every morning we wake up with like stuffy noses. Our voices sound horrendous. We just have no idea what's going on. Like the island is not sitting with us or something. But we are leaving today to go to Santorini. Santorini is our last stop in the Cyclades before we head back to Athens and then back to Toronto. And I think, unfortunately, EOS has like tipped us over the edge and like made us ready to go home. I think Paros, we were like, leaving Paros, we could have stayed for another like 10 days. Like we were so jazzed. But now, unfortunately, we are like, we're just ready to go home. I think really like the interaction on the first day here with the front desk and stuff just really set the wrong tone for the island, and we tried to give the island a fair shot. However, it does seem to be like a very big party island where like the tourism is party centric and there's not, from what we found, as much stuff to do. Maybe because we're so much later in the season and like the big clubs like Far Out and stuff have already had their closing parties like last week, but there's just not as much to do. Yesterday we did a boat tour, which was the saving grace of this island. It was so much fun. The people were really nice on our boat tour, and it was just like I'm watching Erin try and close like the mesh part of her bag. Oh god. Do you need help?
No, I got it.
Okay. Nice. Success. Yeah, the beaches were really beautiful, and we were really we had a really good time. Like the swimming was great. I think next time we would definitely want to charter or find a boat tour that was all day, that was like on one of the catamarans that we went on, especially like the Paros catamaran was so stunning. Because I think we'd want to like hang out at those places longer and like have a little bit more like infrastructure on the boat. But anyways, it was like so good. We went through Meltemi water sports, so I recommend them. It was great. And overall, like the island itself overall aesthetically is really beautiful. It's just if you're coming here for like sightseeing and like touristy things, we didn't find as much. We don't know if that's because of where we are in the season or because the island is just like party focused, but like the Hora didn't really have a lot of shops, and like every time we walked through, like regardless of what time we walked through the Hora, things were closed. So we just don't know if it was like end of season or if things are just economically on this island not doing great after COVID, if it hasn't like bounced back yet or what. But according to tons of videos that we've seen this year, we thought that Eos was going to be like one of our favorite spots, but not the case. But maybe it's just not geared towards like us or like what we like to do. I don't know. There's so many factors in this, and yeah, we also like fully acknowledge the fact that having that little bit of like uncomfortableness at the beginning was definitely a contributing factor in like not setting the island up on the right foot. But we did give it a fair shot, and I think we're still both just like, we're happy we saw it, but we're probably not going to come back here. Oh. Yeah, so we're heading to Santorini today. We're gonna go thing. The other issue is like the food at our hotel is just not that great. So it's kind of like every day we don't really get like a good brekkie that we're like stoked about. So it does make it hard because like we're big food people. So that has been a challenge, I think. And that's like, again, more about the hotel than about the island itself. So we're just, yeah, we would not recommend this hotel, I don't think, especially if you are a visible minority. It was just kind of awkward and uncomfy, and they might do better, but like what the head of guest relations said to us was that this particular person has had difficulties like understanding like that there is like the rules or the procedure or blah blah blah, and then there's like the guest experience, and that the guest experience ultimately is like what comes first. And I think that says a lot about who this person is and like how they operate through their life and their work. So yeah, I just personally would not recommend it. And I also really think that as soon as we experience something like negative, like especially race-based issues, you're done. And like I obviously like would not recommend that, like regardless of what ethnicity any of you guys, my followers, are. I don't think anybody should like have to like go into a situation knowing that there is the potential for race-based discrimination. I think that that's bullshit.
I think there was a part in the video earlier, not like a couple days ago, where I was like, you know what? Yeah, they remediated it. Like, I could recommend it. I go back. I cannot recommend this place.
This is why I was like, we gave you our like in the moment like breakdown, but there will be like a full breakdown and like written out and all that now that we've done this full experience. Because I think before we were like so willing to give them a chance, and I think now we're just like, after experiencing what everything is to offer here, we're a little less because we don't think that it's worth it. But I'll explain more, don't worry. I'll always do the breakdown videos. But yeah, we're gonna head to Brekkie and try and figure out what to eat. The only redeeming grace of this breakfast thing is that they give you bottomless fresh squeezed OJ, which
well, bottomless is a given because any sort of continental breakfast in Europe is like gonna give it to you. The fact that that's their only saving grace.
That's the only saving thing, okay? And it's like bottomless coffee, but like yesterday, both of us were so unwell after the breakfast that we couldn't even like have more than like.
My egg was so raw.
Yeah, the eggs were raw. Like both
I
of
eat
us.
like runny scrambled eggs too, and I was like, this is like just raw.
Yeah, it was like a 3-minute poached egg, which is kind of foul. So.
I think mine was like 2.5 minute at this point, maybe even 2 minute, because like the egg white was swimming on its own.
Yeah, she was. Mine was clear.
And I'm not like picky as a person with food. Like don't get me wrong, I love to cook, but like if I go somewhere else, like you know, if they're not up to my expectations, I'm not gonna like drag them crazily. But this was like a BO, like so way below.
It's not that we're picky eaters. It's that if we're paying like a lot of money for food, it should meet like a minimum standard of at least cookedness, and this did not. So yeah, anyways, let's go eat. They bring us breakfast in our room. guys. Welcome to Ia in Santorini. We are so happy to be here. We are stoked. We're like, oh my god. And I'll show you my view and why we're stoked. But what we've done is we've done a quick change. Well, not really a quick change. We did some laundry and have decided to head out to the town to get a little bit of a snack, and then we have dinner at 7:15. But I want to show you this view. It's unreal. Look. Look at it. Oh my god. Yeah, so we are staying at one of the coolest hotels we've stayed at so far. And it is just so beautiful. It's literally where everybody comes to take photos, and we're staying right in the middle of it. It is crazy. We're so excited. So yeah, we're gonna go in search of a little snack, walk around the town, and then we are gonna have dinner at Moody Bay at the tavern there at 7:15. So we have a couple hours to ourselves to just wander, explore with no agenda, and all that jazz. So it's gonna be great. Shutter speed doesn't change video. up at, well, we got up before 7 to watch the sunrise and like take some photos and stuff. Our breakfast just got delivered. It smells so good right now. And our coffee, they're really sweet. They like deliver everything like right to your room. I want to show you guys the morning view out into the bay. Look at this. It's crazy. So where we're staying, it's like between the two domes, and pretty much everybody else has to like stand away and like around, but our hotel is situated right between the two like blue domes of the Hora here, and it's just unreal. We totally lucked out with this find. But yeah, we're stoked. I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna have some coffee, and then I think we're gonna rot for an hour or two because we're exhausted. Let's fix the hair. Good morning, guys. It is 6:33. And we are waiting to check out of our hotel and head to the airport. We are going to fly from Santorini to Athens today, and this is like the last leg of our journey, and it has been such an amazing trip. I feel like we've definitely learned so much about what we like here, what we don't like here. Ooh, and our guy is here. Okay, I'm gonna talk to you guys later. We have arrived in Athens. We got in this morning at 9:15, our plane landed, and then by the time we got to the city, it was like 10:30ish, and then we went to go get some food, and we had to walk around for a bit because our room wasn't ready until about 1. And we've checked in, and we spent the last hour working through our trip finances. So we have like a spreadsheet where we organize who's paid for what to make sure that we are keeping like parity in the expenditure of the trip. And one of the things we noticed is we thought we booked a standard room here, and I'm pretty sure we booked a standard room, so the same as at the beginning of our trip, but they've actually put us into a much larger room, which I'm gonna go stand over here and show you guys the view back. You don't need to. But like, so this room, the bed, and then there's like a whole sitting area at the back there. And then I'm gonna swap places with EKY quickly. There's a double sink and a bathtub and a shower in this one. And then we have the same, like this mirror thing is bigger. So yeah, they've really upgraded us. And we don't know if it's just because we're nice, because they liked us, because like we actually did book this room.
Or if I was being fiscally irresponsible.
Yeah, we have no idea what actually happened, but this is not what we expected. But we, through some stroke of mad genius, without even meaning to, in our little spreadsheet, we've actually come within 30 euros of each other for total trip spend, which is unplanned, and we didn't mean to. And we've just somehow managed to kind of end up somewhat even with 2 days left on the trip, which is stunning for us. Go us, go team. And yeah, we have dinner tonight here at the hotel, which is actually kind of a good thing because it turns out a lot of things in Athens are closed on Sunday, and we didn't realize that. And now we're just kind of like, instead of having to go out and worry and deal with food and like maybe only being able to eat at like some like at the touristy kind of areas, we have a really nice dinner at our hotel. The food at our hotel is quite good, as per the breakfast spread. And we're gonna go rot on our rooftop for a little bit and just chill because we are exhausted. This is our not sleigh day. This is our chill day. Okay. I am very grateful. So many things going.
How cute is that? I love fresh bread.
Like really petty things, and I'm just like, how do I suggest with it? Like, very.
Because I'll...